Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we'll do adjoint and inverse of a matrix, which is a subtopic from chapter 4 determinants of 12th class maths. So first we'll look at what is adjoint. So definition: an adjoint of a matrix A, which is equal to Aij n cross n, is transpose of matrix capital Aij n cross n, where Aij is the cofactor of element small aij okay. So an adjoint of a matrix which is A equal to small aij n cross n, so order of the matrix is n, is nothing but transpose of a matrix which is capital Aij n cross n, where this Aij is the cofactor of element small aij. It is denoted by, means the adjoint is denoted by Adj of A. We'll look at the matrix form of this. So let A equal to a 3 cross 3 matrix, that is A11, A12, A13. So always the matrix has to be a square matrix of order n. So in this case we are taking n equal to 3. Second row will be A21, A22, A23. Third row will be A31, A32, A33. This is 3 cross 3 matrix. Now adjoint of A will be given as Adj of A, which is equal to transpose of the matrix which is A11, A12, A13. Now what are these Aij's? These are the cofactors of the respective elements, okay, that is A11, A12, A13. Now similarly for the second row you have to take the corresponding adjoint of the elements, so that is A12 for A21 for the element A21, then A22 for the element A22, and A23 for the element small a23. Similarly for the third row, A31, A32, A33. So this will be equal to, now this is just the transpose of this, so rows and columns will get interchanged. So first row will become the first column, so A11, A12, A13. Second row will become second column, A21, A22, A23. Third row will become third column, A31, A32, A33. So this is the adjoint of the matrix A, okay. So let us understand this more clearly by taking an example. So example, find the adjoint of matrix A which is equal to 1 2 3 4 in this way. Okay, that is the matrix 2 3 1 4. So for this we have to first find the cofactors of this matrix A, that is aij's, right? So for that, what we have to do, just find it. A11 will be what? To find the cofactor, you know, the formula for aij will be minus 1 raised to I plus j. Now here it is 1 plus 1. Okay, and then multiplied by the minor of the element A11, that is M11. This will be equal to minus 1 raised to 2. And what is the minor here? So for that you have to hide the first row and first column, right? This you already know. So first row and first column you have to hide. So the minor will be this 4. So you will get this is equal to 1 multiplied by 4. So that is equal to 4. Okay, similarly A12 you have to find, that is cofactor of small element A12, small A12. Okay, so minus 1 raised to 1 plus 2 multiplied by M12, that is minor of the element small A12. So this will be equal to minus 1 raised to 1 plus 2 will be 3 multiplied by minor of A12 will be what? So you have to just hide the first row, okay, and the second column. So the minor will be 1 here. So 1. Now minus 1 raised to odd power 3, which is minus 1, multiplied by 1, which is equal to again minus 1. Okay, so then now you have to find A21, right? So it will be equal to minus 1 raised to 2 plus 1 M21. So that will be equal to minus 1 raised to 2 plus 1, that is 3, multiplied by minor of element A21. So that we have to hide the second row and the first column. So you can see the minor is 3. So 3 here, so which is equal to minus 1 raised to odd power 3, which is minus 1, multiplied by 3, that is equal to minus 3. Similarly we have to find A22. This will be equal to minus 1 raised to 2 plus 2 M22. Okay, this will be equal to minus 1 raised to 4 multiplied by M22. For that we have to hide the second row and the second column. So the minor will be 2. Okay, so 2 here. So what we will get, minus 1 raised to 4 is 1 multiplied by 2, so which is 2. Okay, so now we have found the cofactors. Now we can write the adjoint. So adjoint of A will be equal to transpose of the matrix A11, A12, A21, A22. Okay, so this is equal to transpose of matrix A11 is 4, A12 is minus 1, A21 is minus 3, and A22 is 2. Okay, so now if we take the transpose, we will get adjoint of A equal to matrix 4 minus 1 and minus 3 2. Okay, so this is the adjoint of A. Now there is a shortcut method to find the adjoint of A, so that we will see. Shortcut method to find adjoint of A, or we can write adjoint of a 2 cross 2 matrix. So because the method is for only 2 cross 2 matrix, so what is the method? Suppose we have 2 cross 2 matrix, that is A11, A12, A21 and A22. So directly we can find the adjoint of A by doing this: interchange this diagonal. Okay, means interchange the elements of this diagonal. So interchange, okay, and change the signs of the elements of this diagonal. So here it is, change the sign, change the signs. Okay, so what we will get here? A22 and A11, because the elements are interchanged. Now here we have to just change the signs. So minus A12, and here we will get minus A21. So this will be the adjoint of A. So that is the shortcut method that you have to use for solving problems. Okay, now we will go to one theorem, that is theorem 1 here. So the statement of the theorem is as follows: if A is a square matrix of order n, okay, then A times adjoint of A, this will be equal to adjoint of A times A, which will be equal to determinant of A times I. So this is the theorem. If you have a square matrix of order n, then the product A times adjoint of A or adjoint of A times A will be equal to the determinant of matrix A times the identity matrix. Okay, this is the identity matrix. So where I is identity matrix. Of course, of order n. So let us look at the sketch of the proof. Okay, so sketch of proof. This is not a proof, just a sketch of proof. So here we will take matrix of order 3, okay, a square matrix of order 3. So let A be equal to A11, A12, A13, then A21, A22, A23, then A31, A32, A33. Okay, now here we have to find adjoint of A, or write adjoint of A. So adjoint of A is given as, you know this, it is A11, A12, A13, then second column will be A21, A22, A23, then A31, A32, A33, right, where these Aij's are cofactor of small aij, right. Now if we find the product A times adjoint of A, so what we will get, matrix A11, A12, A13, then we have A21, A22, A23, we are writing A here, then A31, A32, A33 times adjoint of A, which is this A11, A21, A31, then A12, A22, A32, then A13, A23 and A33. Okay, so what I'll do here is, see, we have to multiply these two matrices. So what I'll do is I'll only write first row, okay, and then I'll explain what I have to explain. So first row let us write, so A11, capital A11, we are multiplying first row with the first column. This is how we have to multiply. So A11 plus A11 plus A12, then A12, then plus A13, capital A13, okay. Then again we have to write the second row. So again first row and second column we have to multiply, means corresponding elements we have to multiply. So A11, A21, then plus A12, A22, then plus A13, A23, okay. And okay, just okay, then we have to multiply the first row and the third column. So what I'll get is A11, A31 plus A12, A32, and then we will have A13 plus A13, A33, okay. Now here you have to look at the elements of this row. So what you have is an element and its corresponding cofactor, okay. It is not different cofactor, means it is not a cofactor of a different element, it is a cofactor of this element only, plus again A12 you have, and then you have again the cofactor of the same element, plus A13 and cofactor of the same element. So this here will become determinant of A, okay. This we have already studied. Now here if you look at A11 is there, and then it is not the cofactor of the element A11, okay. It is a cofactor of element A21. Again similarly here, this if you see A22, it is not cofactor of this element A12, and similarly here A23 is not cofactor of the element A13. So this here will become 0 even if one term in this sum has a cofactor which is multiplied to the different element, okay. So here also you can see A31, it is not cofactor of A11, even if you have one element in the sum in this way, then the sum will become 0. Okay, this you already studied. So in fact here no cofactor is of the same element which is multiplied to it. Okay, so this will become 0. So similarly, if you see, when you will multiply the second row and the first column here, for getting the second row of this matrix, which is the matrix that we are calculating. Okay, so if you multiply the second row and the first column, okay, then you will get 0 here. In the middle you will get determinant of A. You can check it. If you multiply the second row with the second column, you will get determinant of A. If you multiply the second row with the third column, you will get 0. Okay, similarly, now if you go to the third row and then you multiply it with the first column here, okay, to get the third row of the resultant matrix that we are multiplying or that we are getting. Okay, so what you will get, first row and the first column, if you multiply, you will get 0 here. Then again first row and the second column, if you multiply, you will get 0, and third row and third column, if you multiply, you will get determinant of A. Okay, so you will get this is equal to matrix, the first sum will be determinant of A. Here I have written it. Okay, determinant of A, then we have 0 here, then again 0 here, then again 0 determinant of A and 0. Then 0 0 determinant of A. Okay, so what we were calculating, the product of adjoint of A and A. Here if we look at, we were calculating product of adjoint of A and A, or product of A and adjoint of A. So this is nothing but A times adjoint of A. So this will imply, if we take determinant, before that, if we look at this matrix, we can take determinant of A common here. Okay, and then what will remain? The identity matrix 1 0 0 and 0 1 0 0 0 1. Okay, so what we are getting is A times adjoint of A is equal to this determinant of A times the identity matrix. This 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1 is identity matrix of order 3. So this will imply, now if we take the determinant on both sides, okay, so what we will get, determinant of A, okay, no, I think we have got what we want. So this is what we wanted, A times adjoint of A, that is equal to determinant of A times I. Okay, similarly we can get adjoint of A times A is equal to determinant of A times I, right, by doing the similar steps. So this is 1 and this is 2. So from 1 and 2, we get A times adjoint of A, and that is equal to adjoint of A times adjoint of A times A, which is equal to determinant of A times I. Okay, so this is what we wanted. So that is the this is the sketch of the proof. Because we have not taken in general for n, we have taken for n equal to 3, so this becomes just only the sketch of the proof. Okay, now we'll proceed. We have to look at the definition of non-singular matrix. Sorry, first we will look at singular matrix. So a matrix, a square matrix A is called a singular matrix if determinant of A is 0. So if determinant of A, which is a square matrix, is equal to 0, then we say that the square matrix A is singular matrix. Okay, for example, if A is equal to matrix 1, 8 and 4 and 2 here. Okay, so 1 to 4, 8. Then if you look at the determinant, what will be the determinant? It will be the determinant of 1 to 4, 8. This will be equal to 8 times 1 is 8 minus 4 times 2 is 8. That will be equal to 0. Okay, so this implies determinant of A is 0. So hence we can say that matrix A is a singular matrix. Okay, now we will go to the next definition, which is non-singular matrix. Definition of non-singular matrix. So a matrix a square matrix is called non-singular matrix if determinant of A is not equal to 0. Okay, so if a square matrix A has its determinant not equal to 0, then we say that the matrix A is non-singular matrix. So for example, let us take A equal to matrix 1 2 3 4. Okay, so if we calculate the determinant, that will be nothing but 1 2 that will be nothing but determinant of 1 2 3 4. So that is 4 times 1, that is 4, minus 3 times 2, which is 6, and that is nothing but minus 2, so which is not equal to 0. Okay, so here what we are getting is the determinant of A is not equal to 0, hence A is non-singular matrix. Okay, so now we'll proceed. So we have to now look at theorem which are related to these two definitions. One theorem which is related to this definition. So theorem number 2, if A and B are two non-singular matrix non-singular square matrix of same order. Okay, this is important. Then AB and BA. So if only they are of same order, we can calculate AB and BA. Okay, so then AB and BA are also non-singular matrix of same order. Okay, this is theorem number 2. So what does it say? So A and B are two non-singular matrix, that is the determinant is non-zero. Okay, determinant of A is not equal to 0, determinant of B also is not equal to 0. Then if you look at their products, that is AB or BA, then both will be non-singular matrix, means both the matrices will have determinant not equal to 0. Okay, now theorem number 3. So here the statement is as follows: the determinant of product of two square matrices is equal to product of their respective determinants. Okay, so we will read it again. The determinant of product of two square matrices is equal to product of their respective determinants. So that is, if we take the determinant of AB, so these are two square matrices and we are looking at their products. So determinant of that product will be equal to product of their respective determinants. So that is determinant of A times determinant of B. Okay, so where A and B are square matrices of same order. So that is the theorem 3. Now we will look at one remark which is related to theorem 3. So remark: if we look at if we recall the theorem number 1, what we have there? We have adjoint of A times A was equal to determinant of A times identity matrix, right? This was from theorem number 1. So recalling theorem number 1. Okay, here if we take determinants on both sides, so what we will get? Determinant of adjoint of A times determinant of A, which is equal to determinant of A times I, right? So this, if we look at this, this is nothing but determinant of A. And what is identity matrix? It is 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. Okay, so this will imply adjoint of A times A, which is this left hand side, will be equal to determinant of, if we multiply this determinant of A to this matrix, then to each element the scalar will get multiplied. This is a scalar, so for each element it will get multiplied. So we will get determinant of A, then 0 0 0, and determinant of A, 0 0 0, determinant of A. Okay, this is what we will get. So we will get adjoint of A, then multiplied by A, will be equal to, now this, here we have determinant of A 0 0 0, determinant of A 0 0 0, determinant of A. You know that when you take scalar common from a determinant, then what happens? You can take the scalar common from the first row, then second row, and then third row. Okay, or you can take the scalar common from first column, second column, and then third column, right? So either of one of the common taking step you can do. So that means whichever step you will do, you will get 3 determinants of A outside, right? And then you will be left with determinant of 1 0 0, then 0 1 0 0 0 1. Okay, so what now you will get is determinant of adjoint of A times A, and this here it will be determinant of A cube, right? Then multiplied by determinant of identity matrix is 1, this you know. So what we will get is determinant of adjoint of A times A is equal to determinant of A cube. So this will imply, now what we can do here is we can use the theorem 3, which says that determinant of product of two matrices is equal to product of the respective determinants. So here we will get determinant adjoint of A times determinant of A, that will be equal to determinant of A cube, right? So this will imply one determinant of A will get cancelled from both the sides, and you will get adjoint of A, which is equal to determinant of A square. Okay, so this is an important result that we have from the remark using theorem 3. Now in general we can say that in general, if A is a square matrix of order n, then what we will have? So determinant of adjoint of A will be equal to determinant of A raised to n minus 1. Okay, now here the result that we had got, that was for matrix A which was of order 3 cross 3, right? That means the order was 3. So here what we got, determinant of A raised to 3 minus 1, which is 2, right? So similarly, if we in general if we look at, right, in general if we look at, then if the matrix A has order n, then determinant of adjoint of A will be determinant of A n minus 1, one less than the original order. So that is the remark. Now we will go to theorem 4. Okay, theorem number 4. A matrix A is said to be invertible. Okay, so now let us look at the theorem number 4. So theorem number 4, a square matrix A is invertible if and only if A is non-singular. Okay, so let us look at the proof. Now here we have if and only if. So both the ways you have to prove here. So that is, first if we take if square matrix A is invertible. Okay, if square matrix A is invertible, right? So that means we are taking the first statement. What we have to do is prove the second statement, that is A is non-singular, we have to prove. So we took here the first statement, if square matrix A is invertible, that is, you know that A invertible means there is a matrix B of same order as A, such that AB is equal to BA, which is equal to identity matrix. Okay, so we will call this equation as 1. We have to prove that A is non-singular, right? So what we have is from 1 AB equal to BA is equal to I. So this implies if we take determinant throughout the equation, so that is determinant of AB will be equal to determinant of BA, which will be equal to determinant of I, right? So this will imply that determinant of A times determinant of B, because determinant of AB will be equal to determinant of A times determinant of B by theorem number 3. Okay, so this will be equal to, now determinant of B A will be what, determinant of B times determinant of A, and that will be equal to determinant of identity matrix I is 1. Okay, so what we get? We get that determinant of A times determinant of B is equal to 1. Now this second product is the same as the first, because these are just scalars here, right? Even if you write determinant of B first or determinant of A first, it doesn't matter, it is equal to determinant of A, determinant of B. They are real numbers. So we have only one equation here, so that is determinant of A times determinant of B is equal to 1. So what this means? This means that determinant of A is not equal to 0, because the product of these two is 1. Okay, so both of them are actually not equal to 0, so this we can write first. Otherwise the product would have been 0. Okay, so both of these determinants are not equal to 0. In particular, determinant of A is not equal to 0, because this is important for us. So therefore A is non-singular matrix. Okay, why? Because determinant of A is not equal to 0. Okay, now we will go to the next implication that we have to prove. So that is, if A is, so we have proved the first implication, now second implication. So if A is non-singular matrix, right, this now is given to us. So if A is non-singular matrix, now we have to prove that A is invertible. Okay, so now if A is non-singular matrix, that is determinant of A is not equal to 0. This is by definition. Okay, now we have to prove that A is invertible. So for that we can use the theorem number 1. Okay, so by theorem number 1, what we have is adjoint of A times A is equal to A times adjoint of A, right, and that is equal to determinant of A times I. Okay, so now what we can do here is, since determinant of A is not equal to 0, we can divide it throughout this equation. Okay, so what we will get, adjoint of A times A, and then divided by determinant of A. Okay, similarly we can do it for the second product. I mean, because we are dividing it throughout the equation, so for the second product also we have to divide, and then for this third product, so that is determinant of A I divided by determinant of A. Now what we will get here? So we will get determinant of A times adjoint of A, 1 by determinant of A adjoint of A, then times A is equal to and determinant of A times adjoint of A, and equal to I, because this determinant of A will get cancelled here. Okay, so equal to I. Now we can write these products, these two products, as in this following way. Okay, so 1 by determinant of A, adjoint of A, times A, which is equal to A times 1 by determinant of A, adjoint of A. Why? Because this is a scalar. 1 by determinant of A is a scalar. We can take it inside this product, right? And this is equal to I. Now we will write this term which is inside the bracket as one matrix B. Okay, so what we will get is BA is equal to AB, which is equal to I. Now where this matrix B is equal to 1 by determinant of A, adjoint of A. This is defined. Okay, I had written the reason here. No, I have not written this. I can divide because since determinant of A is not equal to 0, I can divide determinant of A because determinant of A is not equal to 0. Okay, so since determinant of A is not equal to 0, this is defined, and so this is defined, matrix B. So therefore A is invertible. Why? Because you have a matrix B, such that AB equal to BA is equal to identity matrix. So therefore A is invertible matrix. Okay, so that was theorem number 4. So that's it in the video. If you have not subscribed to my channel, then please do subscribe to get similar videos. I'll see you in the next video. Catch you soon.